It is that time of year. The dark time of year. Okay, enough screwing around. So, what's up, everyone? So I love this time of year. If you cannot tell by half of the shit I draw, I just love Halloween. Before we get started on retail horror stories, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about the drawing on the screen. This was originally drawn last year. This was a part of a coloring book page sort of thing. I apologize that you guys are unfortunately not going to get to see how I drew it, but you can at least get to see how I colored it. And this was drawn during the time that I had my hiatus, and I was taking care of my grandpa, so I just wanted to have the opportunity to get to color that for you guys. So please enjoy. And now, on to the horror. Anyways, I was thinking about a topic to accompany this drawing. I want to improve my content so that it's a little more engaging and not just, oh, hey, look at this beautiful drawing. I'm not going to do anything else but just draw it in front of you, but really, really quickly. Woo! No. So I want to make it a little more interesting for you guys and, entertain you and whatnot. And, of course, it is that time of year, that horrific time of year. It is the delicious season of September. Everything's starting to get colder, and it is easing into our lovely October. So what better than to have some horror stories? But not the typical horror stories that you would be used to. Why, my pet, I am speaking about the most horrific of all experiences. I am talking about the retail job. So yeah. So I was thinking about talking about my first job. I have a thing about retail. I believe everyone should work in retail a little bit in their life, just to get a better understanding of how crappy it is, the crap that you get put through, and if anything, just to show others, hey, it's a pretty crappy job. Or at least if you're going to the store, you're not going to be a total dickhead to that cashier or to that worker or to whatever. Don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's just my belief. I believe everyone should experience retail at least once in their life. Because I feel like it's just a special type of horror. You realize some parts of humanity are pretty shitty. So, my retail job, this was one of my first jobs. I got it when I was 16. I worked in an apparel department of like one of those, it's like I guess kind of a big box store. Like think of like your Kmart or Sears, like that type of store. And yeah, I worked in apparel, and I worked at this job, like just this place in general, I think for 2 or 3 years. It wasn't that long compared to like other jobs, but for retail, that is pretty long. It was my first job. I was super naive, and part of the problems was like for my own self, I was like a people pleaser. I still kind of am, and I hate that about myself. But we're not gonna go into that part, but crappy parts about it was just like how customers will treat you. Like for example, no matter how much you know the back room, or tell a customer, hey, no, we don't have that item. I was just back there 5 minutes. They don't freaking believe you. They think you're just like full of shit or whatever. And so like a lot of times, like, for example, it's like, well, I need you to check on this baby stroller. And, at that time, I'd be like, well, no, we don't have any back there because I just did inventory. And I know for myself that there's no more baby strollers. But for whatever reason, they're just like, no, I don't believe you. Now go back there and check. And I'm just like, ugh. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of crappy parts. I mean, you'll have, let's see, obviously you'll have the crappy customers. And I worked in apparel, so, I mean, we would work at like the fitting room. So like people, I mean, they literally treat the fitting room like a public toilet. I really shit you not. This happened a few times where, like, for example, one time I was cleaning out the fitting rooms and there was a pile of like our nice little panties that we had in the, like, what was it? The intimates. And I went to grab them and they were warm and wet. And automatically I'm just like, oh my God, is this piss? Is this seriously piss that I just picked up? And yeah, somebody like just took a big old whiz into this like pile of panties that was like on the shelf. Like they, from what I remember, the fitting room, it had like a shelf that you could put items or your purse or whatever crap that you brought in there. And then it had like a bench that you could like, you know, sit on and put your crap on. But yeah, they put these panties, which they shouldn't have brought into the fitting room in the first place. Like, I don't know if you, like the fitting room that we had, you weren't supposed to try on panties. You could try on, like bathing suits, but you were technically supposed to wear underwear underneath it. But yeah, you weren't supposed to wear those panties, but I guess either somebody wasn't at the fitting room at the time and was able to check them in, or I don't know. But yeah, that was disgusting. And that was not the first time or the last time. We had someone, what was it? Another thing that was similar, they tried on a bunch of, not underwear, they tried on a bunch of clothes, or it looked like they tried on a bunch of clothes. They left it in a pile on the floor, big ass pile, and they took a freaking whiz all over it. But then they hid it, which was even more disgusting. So normally, what was it? This was an occurrence, like not the pissing, but just people treat like the fitting room like it's their own personal, I don't know, they don't give a shit about the product, and they just like throw it on the floor and then just walk out. I mean, part of the problem was, you know, there should have been somebody watching the fitting room, but it just appalls me like how some people treat stuff that's not even theirs yet, or, you know, they have no intention of buying. So anyways, yeah, they took this pile, they pissed on the pile, and then they covered up their lovely evidence so that someone like me would just come in there, think nothing of it, and of course, stupid me, being 16 years old, I just go down, grab the whole pile in my hands, and that's when I feel the lovely warmth of somebody's urine. So yeah, that was fun. And the fact that I couldn't go home to change my shirt even though I had somebody's urine on me, that was fun. And that brings me into another part of the horror of retail. It's not just the customers, it's the management. And it's like you can't really blame management in a way because they're in a shitty position, but they attract some shitty ass managers. At the time I was underage and I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to by law work past 10 in my state. Well, they exploited that, and then when I found out, what was it? I was like trying to go home, trying to, get out of there, and they're just like, well, no, that law doesn't apply. And of course, me being the passive person that didn't really want to push the issue, I was just like, all right, fine, whatever. And then come to find, what was it, later on, that yeah, that was kind of a bad thing. And it was even more hilarious when, what was it? I was 18 and they could do that, and then they hired some more high school students, and then conveniently they started following the rules and being like, oh shit, we gotta let them out after 10 o'clock, or before 10 o'clock, not after. Okay, so another thing that I'm thinking about now, that it's jogging my memory about that horrific time, was my yearly review over there. And I remember, like, I was making minimum wage, and in my state at that time when I was there, I think it was like below $7. I want to say it's $6.75. I might not be remembering that right, but I remember we'd have our little yearly review, and they would have like all these marks of like, oh well, you did this, this, and this, and I think like the highest that you could get was 30 cents, and it was just, I mean, it's not the worst, but I never got 30 cents, and it was kind of messed up. Like, actually, one of the managers told me, he's like, yeah, the highest possible is 30 cents, but we can never give that to people. So the highest they really can get is 25 cents. And you got 25 cents. So I don't know. I think that could have been total bullshit, but I remember him saying that, and I was just like floored. I just was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I remember, like, my review, it was glowing, everything was good. It's like, oh yeah, you've always come in, you've always done this, you listen to your manager, but we can't give you full marks because that's just the store policy. And I'm like, why would you have that? Why would you have that on your review sheet, and you can't even give that when you are saying that person has a glowing review? Like, it was just like messed up stuff like that. And I remember just like really like hating it there after a bit, and it honestly depressed me, like, thinking back on it. Because thinking back on that, it really depressed me, because at the time towards when I left that place, I was going through a lot of changes. I had recently left high school. I was having issues because a lot of the friends that I had were younger than me. They were still in high school, and I missed them terribly. The people that I did have surrounded around myself at the time were my coworkers, and most of them were being, to be frank, assholes to me. And I remember at one point I actually ended up changing departments because I was just like, I didn't want to really be around them. I mean, they played like practical jokes where, like, at one point I came in and they told me, no, you're not supposed to be working today. And they got the whole department to say that. And the manager found out, and he was just like, oh, no, make sure she doesn't leave. And I remember being like super upset about that. And then, like, I remember another time they took my purse and they just like hid it with some product. Like, I mean, luckily it was in the back room, but like, I honestly panicked. And I get it. Like, you know, there can be, you know, camaraderie where you can joke around like that. But honestly, I didn't feel that sincerity. Like, I guess like the best way to describe it is I honestly felt like the Dwight of that store. And, you know, part of it was I was an oddball. I'm not gonna lie. I was socially awkward, and I was an oddball, and I didn't understand social norms. So, of course, I would take people on their face value. And it's like, yeah, thinking back on it, yeah, I'm a little butthurt and bitter. But, you know, it is like, when I think back, I'm like, yeah, they they were assholes on their own right too. So, I mean, I learned a lot of good lessons about like people and whatnot, but that is part of my retail experience. I have more stories to talk about because that wasn't my only job. Luckily, I don't work in retail anymore. I thank the heavens. I love where I work, and I'm really happy about where I work. But I have like other retail experiences that I'd be willing to share, and I think they'd be interesting. And but thank you everyone for, if you stuck around. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate you guys. I know I am like the tiny speck of a channel, but I'm trying here, limping along and trying. But anyways, please enjoy this season. It is beautiful. Go take a walk outside, watch the leaves, and just enjoy that Halloween. Stuff yourself with some candy. Eat your feelings away. I know I will. Gotta have those Kit Kats. And let me tell you about those Reese's Cups. Oh, baby. I am dreaming about them. Anyways, I love you guys. And have a happy and evil September.